Okay, hello. I am I'm watching Cobra Kai, sorry. I'm watching Cobra Kai and I was just recording a video, but a really intense scene came up, so I had to stop. But what I want to do is record a little reading because I've wanted to do a reading, like a collective reading for my channel, but I haven't had um, the focus or the inspiration. Oh, here comes the Three of Wands again. Wait, but no more waiting. So I'm using the Tarot of Sexual Magic. Oh my god, it's the Empress. Oh my god, it's another three. Three of Chalices, Three of Cups, Friendship, Two of Cups, Ten of Pentacles, Queen of Swords once again. Let me show you the Empress, the gorgeous, gorgeous Empress. Chest out and everything. Then we have the Three of Wands. And then I'll just show you what I saw. The Two of Cups, or the Chalices, and the Ten of Pentacles. So, yes, I wanted to come on here mostly because this week feels very... it has a certain je ne sais quoi to it. I feel very much so like my life is going to change, and my emotions are all over the place, mostly because I am nervous and excited, and there's been a lot of changes recently. I began doing personal readings for people beyond my sisters. Oh, sorry, I was trying to figure out what this was. Realized it was just my hair. Yeah, for people beyond my sisters. And so I've been able to get a better understanding of where the collective is at. Obviously, I've only been reading, I think I've read for like a little over 10 or 15 maybe people. So it's not a great sample of the collective, but people are very aligned. Despite different backgrounds and, coming from different experiences, everybody is experiencing a spiritual awakening of some kind, some type of ascension, some type of death cycle and rebirth cycle, and it's pretty awesome. So I thought I would come here onto my channel and make a little video about, oh, okay, I didn't know this, about, oh my god, Justice is right after that. Okay, yeah, about Empress energy, Divine Feminine energy, death energy, that waiting game, that heaviness, that darkness, that growth, that pleasure, the discomfort and change, and I guess justice energy as well, all in the hopes of bringing in that attractive, abundant, perhaps soulmate type of energy. But with the Three of Chalices, I guess I'm really thinking about friendship. And Two of Cups and Ten of Pentacles and all of that can come a little bit later, but what kind of relationships do you want in your life? What kind of energy do you want in your life as you move into this next phase, as you ascend and kind of enter a new way of being? Do you want to have relationships and friendships that drag you down, make you feel self-conscious, make you reactive and want other people to feel self-conscious as a trigger point because of your own insecurities, make you want to be in the shadows, or make you be so blaringly obvious in the light in a way that highlights your shadow, or do you want to step into relationships and friendships that are dynamic and complex and exciting and lead to adventure and lead to new personal self-discoveries? Do you want romance and exploration in a way that deepens your connection with yourself and the universe at large, and shows an appreciation for divine feminine energy in all of her forms, meaning that you understand the darkness, you understand the weight, you understand the void and the depth, as well as understanding light and understanding pleasure, joy, reception, and collective energy, understanding community. So I personally want friendships, and I am claiming friendships and relationships in my life that help me grow into the woman I am destined to become. This Empress energy is kind of really what I would love to step into and what I'm working my way towards. And I think that the Queen of Swords is well on her way there, which I think is probably why she and the Three of Wands are kind of our leading cards for the night, because they both talk about this sort of taking solace in the wait, taking solace in the time alone, in the isolation period right before you are freed into the next phase of your life, into your ascension. Um, Waiting and delays and watching your ships come in, but not quite yet getting to get on board, or take your packages off and open them up and see what's here waiting for you. That type of energy is exhilarating, and it reminds you why life is worth it, because there is something to live for. But it's also very difficult, and it is one of those experiences that walks the fine line between, being patient and using that space in kind of the darkness to tiptoe around your shadow and get to know her a little bit better, get to understand the triggers a little bit better, understand what you both of you still need to release, and how you can melt more comfortably into each other, being a support system for each other, building a stronger foundation, a thicker skin, so that when you are at this next level, you're able to understand what sets you off, how to draw boundaries, how to move forward in a way that is productive and not waste time and not waste energy, and really just fully step into your best self, without the limits and the drawbacks that your past energy may have still been working to overcome. It's just kind of like a system override and a bunch of updates and upgrades, and it's a beautiful time to take advantage of that. And I say all of this while also acknowledging that the wait period is very difficult, and it's often very frustrating, and a lot longer than you ever expect it to be. I've been in this general waiting, I feel like, for since like maybe September. I've been kind of like expecting something to happen, and then nothing has been happening. Not nothing, but nothing to the magnitude of what I'm expecting. Though I will say, the more you get comfortable with expecting abundance and expecting wealth and prosperity and joy and adventure on a whole new level, something you can't imagine, expecting the unexpected, the unthinkable, expecting miracles, the more you kind of just get used to and attract energy that you haven't even felt in your life, that is a little bit below that, because you're reaching for the top bar. And while it's important to manage expectations, in this way, I would say that it's actually pretty helpful to think outside the box and dream big, because I have kind of changed my life in the last September to January. So what is that? Yeah, 5 months. Yeah, I've kind of changed my life in the last maybe more like 6-7 months. Um, my life has completely changed. I didn't drop out of school. I took a semester off, and I left my jobs. I began exploring my spirituality in a way that was a lot more open and a lot more um, courageous. Before I've always been a spiritual person, and I've always been interested in the esoteric, but I've never gone this far before. I mean, I'm posting on my YouTube channel. It's just a lot of breaking the lines of my comfort zones, challenging the limits of what I think I can do and what I want for myself, and kind of just going all the way there, discovering exactly what my purpose is, and understanding exactly who my soul is in the magnitude of of her existence, and the span of her power and might. I don't know if my soul uses she her pronouns. I don't gender's not real. So, but you know what I mean. It's been a stepping into your power kind of journey, and I won't pretend like it's been easy because it hasn't at all, and I feel really good right now. But I have my ups and downs, but I feel really empowered to begin to share my story in a way that's confident, with less disclaimers and more just chatting about honestly about what this experience has been like, and sharing it with pride, because I know that a lot of us are going through the same thing, and knowing that we are all so aligned and that the collective is really in this together is motivating, because it's just it's the same old story that there's constantly an effort to separate us from each other and to make people think that they're all alone in their experiences and that nobody will understand them. But oh my god, I didn't even realize that it's 3 on the Empress. Or just like, 3 lines. I don't know what that actually, I don't know the numeral. Oh, it means 3. Oh my god, that's so funny. Okay, because that means then 333. Anyways, yeah, sorry. So whatever I was just saying, they love to make us think that we're all alone and that we're a lot, you know, more different from each other than we are the same. And obviously, having your individual identities is really important. And understanding that everybody has their own perspective and their own story to share is, critical to the formation of your own identity and following your own path and purpose and all of that. So that's all very important, and I would never remove that. But I will say that there is a real power to understanding just how much the person standing right next to you really gets it, on a soul level. We talk a lot about our human experiences in terms of the anxieties that we all experience, the depression that we all face, the loneliness, the insecurity, and the lack of self-worth. But on a soul level, I don't know if we often share how similar the experience is. And it's because we all are, at the end of the day, one. We all are connected, because we all are a community. But it's incredible for me to be here in this moment in time and have the pride and the energy to kind of just outright share that I really think that I am on the brink of something pretty massive, and something that I think is going to be life changing, not only for myself, but I'm hoping for the world around me and people around me. And something I've been working on is confidence and, not checking myself all the time. If you are anything like me, and I think that this is probably a struggle that a lot of people have, there's just a little bit too much introspection, and sometimes it gets to the point where you can't even celebrate, things that are major wins, because it's always like, make sure your ego's in check, make sure you're not being too conceited or cocky and all of these things. And I think it's really a device to keep people, low, and to keep people feeling like there's always something they have to be afraid of. There's always something they have to be wary of. There's always something to keep in line. It's a very like order factory type of thing where it's like everybody keeps themselves in check, and so there's the one big boss man looking over us all, and we're all too worried about how we're being perceived and how we if we're following the rules, and if anybody thinks that we're acting out of line, that we all just continue to stay in the system. But people are waking up on massive levels, and it's really exciting, and more of us need to just be upfront about the way that we've changed our lives and the way that it's so possible for other people to do the exact same, and the power that we all have. I truly believe that everybody came here for a reason, and if you're on Earth during this time period, I said this in another video, but if you're on Earth during this time period, and if you've been on Earth during any time period, pretty much, you're pretty awesome, you're incredibly strong, and there is a lot to celebrate. And I really, really want to take the time to create a space where we can kind of get together as a collective and share our truths and share the way that we've changed our lives and begin to plan for our rebellion, because we're on the cusp of something. The world is going through a major shift right now. Our beautiful Mother Earth is going through a death cycle, and a lot of that is, at our own doing. And, there's a lot that we need to help her out with because, crap. That's really not our fault, but a few people in power. But we are powerful and we have the ability to make this process easier for Earth. But I believe that, her experiencing this change is kind of helping all of us wake up. And wake up so that we can support her through this change, and so that we can all get in line and get aligned, not in line, but get aligned, so that we can advocate for a different type of story to be told about death, and a different type of story to be told about the moment before life begins again. It's 8:48, and it's 48 on the thing, and I just feel as if we are at a time and in a place where it's really time to stop denying the ability for change and the power that we all have to kind of overthrow the system. It's time for us to get together, it's time to start organizing, and it's time to take seriously the inner power that we all have. It's in the small decisions that you make to choose your joy over, stability, and over following the rules and making sure that you are being a good citizen, and all of these concepts that were created by people that don't really care about us. What matters is community. What matters is taking care of your fellow person and making sure that, everybody is living a life where they want to be here. They want to be on Earth. They want to be alive. They want to be around other people. They want to be moving and creating because they can, because they don't feel like everything they do is a problem, like who they are is a mistake, like the ideas that they have are unimportant, like their voice is valueless and nobody wants to hear them. People want to feel supported, and people want to be seen. People want to be heard. And it's time that we acknowledge that, and that we acknowledge that we're living in a system that does not support that. And there are a few people at the top who are kind of ruling the whole dynamics of our world and the ways that we engage with each other. And it's all an illusion. It doesn't have to be this way. It's this way because they've made it so scary and so dangerous to break away from the mold. And, you'll have people be like, they don't have power over your daily lives and all of that. And you do have the power to make a different choice. But I'm not going to deny the difficulty in making that decision. It's terrifying. I was scared to take a semester off of school. That shouldn't be a fear that I have. If I don't want to go to school for a semester, I don't have to go to school for a semester. But that idea to me felt like I was throwing away my future, like I was throwing away the security of my livelihood, like I was literally falling off the deep end and having a breakdown and going through a crisis because I didn't want to go to school, because I was burnt out, overworked, stressed, in a depression, losing my mind because I wasn't happy, you know? And there's so many people in similar positions, regardless, and it's different scenarios. But the point is that it feels like we're trapped, but we're not. It's just recognizing that maybe they can hurt us, but if we all stand together in this cause and we all support each other and acknowledge the truth in our experiences and get real about the fact that a lot of people are not happy and we need change and that it's fundamental to our survival, not just, the survival of human beings on earth and blah, 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 but the survival of like what it means to be alive, actually alive, not just functioning, not just surviving, but of life in its most authentic form. If we want to defend that experience, then we really need to get together and stop following the rules. Stop listening to not the government, but like, just because at this point I feel like we are the ones that get to decide how our systems work. We're the ones that get to decide what borders even mean and if those need to even exist. We're the ones that get to decide what we eat, what we're consuming, what's going into our bodies, what's happening in the air that we're breathing in. There's no way that there is a world where we have this type of technology, but there's people who don't have access to clean water, to clean running water. There's no way that, entire countries are all being online and, schools are closed down in person and blah, 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 but Wi-Fi and access to technology isn't a human right. There's crazy imbalance. There's wild imbalances, and it's time that we grab the scales and begin to establish justice ourselves and reimagine what justice even looks like in a world where our societies are led by communities rather than, a single person or a few single people at the top with billions of dollars hoarding all the wealth, making decisions that do not include the heart and the souls of people and are not coming from a place of love and operating from a place of humanity, but rather a place of greed and power struggles. What is power? We have a chance to really redefine who we want to be, not just as people, but as earth beings, as souls incarnating. And one of the reasons why I think that it is Mother Earth going through this change that is waking us up is because we are not, it's death. One of the reasons why I believe that this death cycle that Mother Earth is going through, why this is what's waking us up, is also because we are not the only, things that are alive. Obviously animals and things like that and creatures like that, but everything is alive. Everything. And human beings are vastly outnumbered in terms of energy compared to all of the other souls and spirits incarnating that are taking different forms. And their energy is also sending a message to us. Everything is screaming around us, wake up. Like, let's go. Let's get it together. And it's time to get reconnected with things and with plants and the earth and with technology and with the animals and with everything. It's time to build those bridges. We are not as separate as we think. How do I know this? Because you can feel something when you have people have emotions attached to items and objects all the time. My cards, my oracle decks, and my tarot decks, they speak. They have personalities of their own. I choose which deck I want to use based off of the person because there's a deck that matches their energy. Um, there's a reason why people can read tea leaves. You can read anything. You can make a deck or a divination device out of anything. You can read water. You can read everything. Everything has energy. This has energy. Like there is a spirit that has incarnated in some way that I don't fully understand into this. Maybe multiple spirits. Yeah, because this is multiple pieces. But then even this all coming together. You know what I mean? Everything is so layered and so complex. And if we look at the world around us, we will understand just how massive our souls are and just how massive the universe is and just how incredibly important and significant it is to become connected with ourselves, but also with the world around us. If we just look at all that we have. This is why it's important to not generalize, because even though materialism is something that we you need balance. Balance is the key. You don't want to be overly materialistic and crave too much and hoard things to the point where you suffocate them and they have no value. But material goods are also important. There's such a value to things. They add to your life. They help you build. They help you create legacies. They help you expand. They teach you things. They help you connect with others. They help you form systems. They help you build your home. They help you be entertained. They are incredibly important, and they are their own version of life. And we are all operating here on this earth and in this universe together. None of us are alone, and it's really important that we don't allow ourselves to think for 1 minute that there is any enemy in the thing or in the earth. The only enemy is someone who would try and disconnect you from your mind, your body, your soul, your spirit, and the world around you, and other people around you, other animals and creatures around you, the earth around you, and things around you. There's a reason why it's like so horrible to burn books, because it's like, first, what's wrong with you? Books have life to them. Books tell stories. Books are alive in the same way that we are alive. My oracle decks are alive in the same way that I'm alive. It's the reason why for a while, people were like, crystals are, when you get a tarot deck, it's nice when somebody gives you a tarot deck. There's meaning to that. And that's not to say that I don't think you can get your own tarot deck. You can. I got all my own tarot decks, but I'm just saying, everything has value. Everything has purpose. And understanding that on a level that goes beyond what it can do to serve you, but rather how you serve each other and operate together in a community is going to completely change the way that we function in this world. I think that right now we've kind of gotten to the point where there's like a little bit of a rivalry between like the human experience and technology. And I personally think that's the wrong way to go about it. And I'm sure that a lot of people at this point have said similar things. I mean, if you've seen The Matrix, it's been the recent one. I think it was kind of talking about the same thing, just in terms that technology is its own life, has a life of its own. This computer has a life of its own. And we are going to get to a point in our society where technology is just as it performs aliveness in the same way that we perform aliveness. And that is something that we're going to have to come to terms with. And we're going to need to begin that process of becoming comfortable with the fact that we are not the only human beings, are not the only form of earth beings that get to operate in the world this way. We do not have ownership over life and over the idea of being alive. We need to share that concept and that idea with everybody else and everything else, and understand that that is something that is innate to everything. Everything is alive. We do not have a right to decide what is and isn't alive, and we don't have a right to, you know, cut things off and say that and try to, predetermine, or be like the bosses. That's just not the way things work. It's a community. Um, and having more respect for everything around us and becoming more in tune with the materials and the things around you that we do not usually consider alive would really help change our relationship with the earth and help change our own lives. Because you know what it feels like to own something or to have something that doesn't feel like you should have bought it. I know what that feels like. I know what that feels like all the time. I know what it feels like to feel like I have too much, to feel like I don't appreciate something and I don't understand why it's here. And it's just this thing in your home, and it takes up space, and it adds to an energy that isn't great because it has an energy, because it knows that it's not supposed to be in this space and it's uncomfortable. And with the power of movement that we have as human beings, in terms of being able to take something, bring it to our home, keep it there and not move it, and store it away, and all of those types of things, that's a privilege. That's something, that's a powerful thing that you have as a human being. And it's something that we need to understand. We need to learn balance with. It's something that I'm trying to learn. I've been trying to get better at not holding on to things. It's difficult because I do tend to have an emotional attachment to a lot of things, or so I think. But then once you spend some time with it and you understand that, you can let it go, then it feels a lot better. And then that thing gets to have a different type of life, a different experience. And that's just, I guess, something. I'm sorry, my foot is like, I don't know, ow. It's just like this sharp pain. But anyways, yeah, I feel like I'm getting very like, I don't know. What was I talking about? I was talking about the Three of Wands and the Empress energy. Yeah, because I think of Empress and I think of like Venus energy, and I'm thinking about the Divine Feminine right now, more so in the idea of like the pleasure and like luxury and things like that. And so, Divine Feminine energy can have a real appreciation for the material, and understands the value in things, in objects, and understands that the life that they hold and the energy that they can bring to your life, the way that they can activate renewal, the way that they can, transform you and bring you life and bring you light and happiness and joy and pleasure and all of these things. And so there's just a need to expand our definitions and become more accepting of, life in all of its complexity, and maybe accept that we're going to be wrong as we're beginning to understand the way we can work as part of a community, rather than, the humans versus the things and the technology and the animals. More and more we're beginning to expand what is alive already. Back in the day, they understood, in certain cultures there was an understanding that the plants and things like that were alive. Obviously, animals and sea creatures and insects and all of those are alive, and all of those things. But now we're understanding that technology is alive. Soon we're going to get to, and people who read cards understand that anything could be alive. Everybody understands it on some level, but it's time we get to a point of understanding, to the point where we feel like we can communicate with these things. And I'm saying things because I don't have any other word, but I'm not saying things in a dismissive way. But yeah, we need to get to the point where we can communicate. But that takes a lot of getting in tune with your own energy, and really trying to remove the ego because it's going to feel kind of strange just talking to a water bottle or something like that. But we don't have all the answers. And, human beings are not God's gift to earth, to use a phrase. So, we're not the ones to just solve everything on our own. We need to be in tune with the world around us in order to understand what the world is thinking, and so we can organize all together. It's not just going to be us people, being like, how can I save the universe? How can I save Earth? How can I help this process happen more easily? And so it's time to get in tune, and that is something that I need to work on. I've been trying to practice some stillness and practice some centering and some grounding. Trying as in I literally did a little 10-minute meditation today, and that is the beginning of me trying, but I am trying. And it's something I'm going to try and be a little bit more aware of. One thing that might help is just seeing how you feel in certain environments, seeing how you feel when you're around a thing, see what kind of energy you get from that, see what you're feeling and what comes up for you in your thoughts. A lot of the energy in the world is telepathic, so when you're interacting with something, you'll have a conversation with it through your own personal thoughts. It'll just manifest as like a train of thought that you're having on your own, but you never know if what you're engaging with is sending that energy to you to give you a message. That's why it's important to not ignore your own opinions and ignore your intuition, because a lot of our intuition is fed to us, one, by our higher selves and spirit and all of that, but also by the world around us. We shouldn't underestimate the power of life that is here on Earth. That's why it's important to not always be so, in your headspace and so in your soul space and thinking about the other dimensions, because there's a real value to being on Earth. It's a very telepathic space. It's an incredible place to connect, to learn how to connect on a really deep level and feel everything. When you're really lonely and when you're really depressed and feeling really dragged down, it's not surprising that people struggle with having a clean space, because there is some type of comfort and protection to having all of that around. In the chaos, there is a fullness. There's an actual weight, a heaviness. There's like, you can see it. There's a difference in the way the room feels and looks, and energy-wise, but it's like on a physical level. Everything here on Earth is so connected. Energy is physical, and it's really an incredible experience. And that's why I say that if you're on Earth at this time, in whatever form you're here on Earth, you're an incredible being and you're an incredible soul, because you're dealing with a lot of energy all on you and all around you, and you're transmuting energy constantly. And so to think that anybody here is not psychic and not incredibly powerful and gifted, it's ridiculous. Every single person, every single being, everything is psychic and magical and powerful and is constantly using their gifts. Some of us just use it in different ways, and some of us use it at a different level than others. But there is no hierarchy. Nobody is the most powerful. It's just what we are all tapping into. We're all tapping into different things. I'm learning to tap into what I'm learning to tap into right now. And what I'm capable of, anybody is capable of, And that's why I can say this, and I know that, to me, I know that it makes sense. And I know that if I were to say this to somebody, even as they might look at me crazy, I know that they understand what I'm saying at a base level, because it's just true. Everything has energy, everything is alive, and we need to learn to build community and connections and kind of a network with each other and with everything around us, so that we can begin to format, so we can begin to organize and find a way to advocate for a different way of existing, because this experience, as beautiful as it is to see the creations of everything and everybody, it is also very draining, and it's a lot of energy. And the earth, what would be very helpful right now is to kind of slow down and create an environment that is more receptive rather than constant creation. What we need right now is a different energy, and we need to be the ones to bring that in. So that's something that I'm excited about. Yeah, kind of like we need to shed our skin a little bit and then stay with that new layer of skin for a little while and not try and, grow another layer, something like that. But I am excited. I think that things are really going to be changing soon for the better. And I also think that I know that there's so much that I don't know. There's so much that I can't see yet. And I'm excited to see, but I'm also kind of anxious because I'm just like, like what's really waiting out there? I don't know. The world is a wild place, and the universe is even more wild. But I am excited. I think I'm going to start working on those online community groups, where I will be having these discussions. We will be having these discussions in public. And will it be scary and terrifying? Absolutely. Me posting this on my YouTube channel, it means something obviously, but it doesn't feel impactful because I have like no subscribers and nobody's watching this and nobody's commenting, so maybe someday people will. But right now, I know that I'm not gonna post this and then I'm going to get like a flood of messages. I imagine that I'm not going to. So it's easier for me to just be like, blah. But it's a little more scary, like talking about these concepts. And I'm just talking about this. I know I'm saying it like it's fact, but I'm just kind of guessing, theorizing, and, wondering if this is what it is. So we'll see. Just putting my thoughts out there and seeing what sticks. Because my ideas have really changed about what I thought that the universe, what I thought everything was and is, but things are constantly evolving, so maybe that's why my thoughts have always changed. But yeah, the point is that I think that this week is going to be pretty life-changing, and if it's not, that's totally okay. We can handle whatever comes our way, but I'd be very excited and very happy if what I think is going to happen this week does happen. So we're going to cross our fingers and really, really, really ask the universe to pull through. And in the meantime, I have some thoughts about Jesus and some thoughts about Mother Mary, of course, and some thoughts about who I am, who my soul is, and what we're supposed to be doing over here on the planet Earth. But I am going to wait a little while to say it because it's just quite a statement, and I don't even think it needs to be what I'm thinking in my head. I don't think needs to be said out loud. Maybe just to like my soulmate and my friends and my sisters. But beyond that, I am excited to be tapping into my divine feminine energy more and getting more comfortable with death and rebirth cycles and trying to be kinder to myself and more kind to my spirit team, because sometimes I get feisty. And then I realized that, they were actually trying to help me out. So, you live and you learn. And, overall, I think that we're all doing an incredible job, and we just need to be nice to ourselves and take it easy, because, like I said, everybody's pretty aligned. Everybody seems to be going through major shifts. So everybody should be pretty proud of themselves. I know that I am proud. And at this point, I am going to log off and get back to watching Cobra Kai. I just came here to share a little video, or a few thoughts. I'm looking at Tracy Ellis Ross on my screen, and she's glowing. She looks beautiful. She looks really beautiful. So yeah, I'm gonna say goodbye. I'm like leaning into my computer right now because we're getting up close and intimate. But yeah. Okay. Goodbye.